Okay, so very good afternoon, all of you. So I have an apology from my end because I was having some meeting with the CEO, so I just took 20 minutes of time. Great. So what you are doing in this 20 minutes? Programming. Good. So the strength of the class is looking great, even after telling you that today I'm going to start with something new. But then also strength is looking good. Anyhow, no problem. So long way back, that is Friday, I told you that. That's the end of the project. So you have some time. Time till what? Time till Friday, and Friday I'm going to announce you. I'll just look at your projects Friday, and Monday I'm going to announce first, second, and third. So please create your project in a wonderful way. The better the features you add, the better the probability of you getting that first rank. And first rank or the first prize is 7,000 rupees, second prize is 5,000, and third prize is how much? 3,000. So create your project on Friday and keep it ready. So with this, let us start with something new, and that is what most of you been waiting for a long time. And what is that, sir? If you ask me, watch it. The name of the concept which I'm going to start with, I call it as frameworks. Good. So to start with, the first and foremost question is, what do you mean by framework? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by framework? What do you think? What do you think? What do you mean by framework? Let me tell you in this way. You will go to one restaurant, maybe a Chinese restaurant you will go. You will sit one table, on the table, a special friend is there. You'll order one food will come, food you will eat. And after eating, it's so delicious, you will be like calling to the waiter, where is the kitchen? Take me there. Waiter will take you to the kitchen. That will not happen. You just assume. He will take you to the kitchen. And in the kitchen, you're asking, who created this delicious food? Not cricket. Who created delicious food? Whatever is there in the mind, that comes, people tell. Anyhow, so whatever you have created, who created this delicious food? He'll ask. And that waiter will tell, that chef. Will you go and ask that chef, okay, chef, what oil you put there? What are the vegetables you put there? What rice you put there? Oh, this is the rice you put there, right? This rice, where you took it? Which is the grocery shop? Show me. You'll go to the grocery shop and you'll ask, okay, this is the rice you have given to this chef. This rice, from which farmer you took it? You'll go to the farmer. To the farmer, you will ask that, hey farmer, this is the rice which you got it. Tell me, how much land you have? What is the soil moisture there? How much water you put every single day? What is the pesticide you put? All of that you will ask. All of that will you ask, yes or no? You will not ask. Why you will not ask? You don't care. What do you care? What do you care? That food is delicious, yes or no? That is what you care. The same thing, framework as well. What do you mean by framework if you ask me? There is already ready-made thing is there. Already ready-made thing. Ready-made thing is there. You haven't created anything, ready-made thing. Now what you should do is, you should go to this ready-made thing. You should taste each of this ready-made thing and you should tell, is it delicious, yes or no? That is all about your framework. And what is the framework, sir, if you ask me? Framework is, it's a collection of classes, interfaces, methods which already present in Java. We are not creating anything special. Already something which is ready. What is ready, sir? That is what I am showing you. There is something known as classes. That is there which is ready. There is something known as interfaces. That is ready. There is something known as methods. All of them are ready. which is already present in Java. And what you should do is, you should go to all of these classes, use them, and you should tell, is it delicious or not? That is your framework. Understanding? Now you tell me, long way back, you have learned one framework already. You remember? What is that? Collections framework. Why the name framework you have given to it? Why the name framework you have given to it? I want to ask you this. Have you created the array list? You haven't created. Linked list have you created? This is life. Okay. So it's telling you what do you mean by framework. Already ready-made content is there. Classes, interface, methods. What you should do? You should just come, use these classes, use these interfaces, use these methods, meaning you taste it and tell that how delicious are those. That's your framework. Like that, long way back during your core Java classes, you have learned one framework known as what? Collections framework. Why the name given as framework there? Why the name framework given to it? Tell me, you have used array list. Have you created? You haven't created. Then where it is present in? It was already there in Java. You are just using it and you are implementing your project there. You are just using it. What about your linked list? Have you created it? See, sir, created, sir. New linked list created. You have created the object of it. To create an object, what do you need? Class. Have you created that class? No, it was already there in Java. Have you created hash set? No. Linked asset? No. Array DQ? No. Priority queue? No. Blocking queue? No. All of them were present in that. Have you created an interface set there? No. Map? No. List? No. Queue? No. DQ? Absolutely no. All of these interfaces, they were already there in Java. What you did? You went there, used it, and told how beautiful those are. That is your framework. And that is why your collections is also known as what? It's a framework. Because the ready-made content is there, use it and tell how good it is. In the same way, we are learning frameworks. But these frameworks, we are using to create the web application. But using collections, you cannot create a web application. Yes or no? Now you'll ask me, what are these frameworks, sir? If you ask me, watch it. You take any programming language. You take C#, you take JavaScript, you take Java, you take Python, you take any programming language, Each of these have the frameworks, ready-made content. And what are those, sir, if you ask me? If you go to C Sharp, there is one framework, a very famous framework known as what? .NET. .NET is not a programming language. It's a framework in a C Sharp programming language. And people use .NET learn, .NET you learn. Meaning what? Learn a framework .NET. In the same way, if you go to JavaScript, there are many famous frameworks are there. What is that, sir? Number one, React.js. We have something known as Express.js. Beautiful. In the same way, you have something known as what? Angular. There is something known as what? Vue. There is something known as Node.js as well. All of these are the very famous frameworks when it comes to JavaScript. In the same way, when you come to Java, in Java also, there are many frameworks are there. And few frameworks you know, but those are very less. There are many more frameworks are there. If you ask me, what are those frameworks? That is what I am showing you. There is a very famous framework. And what is the name of that framework, sir? The name of that framework is what? Spring. And this is just the heading. Inside Spring, there is a lot of sub-concepts will come. After Spring, there is one more very famous one. And what is that, sir, if you ask me? It is Hibernate, like this. In the same way, there is another Java framework known as what? Struts. So even more precisely, if I have to tell, it is known as Apache Struts. Because this is a framework created by whom? Apache company. Beautiful. So in the same way, if you proceed further, so there is one framework known as what? Blade. There is one framework known as Wicket. There is a framework known as Vaadin. There is a framework known as GWT. What is this, sir? Google Web Toolkit. This is the framework you have. Not only GWT, there is something known as this one. What is that, sir? Grails. Like this. In the same way, you have something known as Dropbox Wizard. Like this, there are many frameworks are there. But among all of the Java frameworks, these are the very famous one. One more one I just forgot to give it. There's one more one, and his name is Play. What is the name? Play, like this. So like this, you have many, but out of them, these are the very important ones. But among all of this, if you ask me, sir, will you teach all of these frameworks? Tell me, what is frameworks? Ready-made content is there inside this. Inside Spring, ready-made content. Hibernate, ready-made content. Struts, ready-made content. You should use this ready-made content and build your application. That is the framework. Okay, sir. Out of all of this, which are the very important one you tell us? Because to learn all of this, to teach all of these frameworks, I need a minimum of 2.5 to 3 years. How much? 2.5 to 3 years. In fact, just to learn your core Java, to teach you that, I need a minimum of 1.5 years to 2 years. Do you know this? That is the big ocean your Java is. But whatever the concepts we have taught, all these concepts are industry used. 99.9% of the things. That is why we have taught you such concepts which are used in the industry. In the same way, these are the frameworks, and to teach you all of them, I need not less than 3 years, more than 3 years. Then what we should do? You should come and sit in front of me for 3 years. Common sense, you should not. Sir, looking at your face every day is a big problem for us. And you are speaking about 3 years, I have to see your face. That is impossible, sir. I also know that. That is why, among all of this, you learn 2 frameworks. That is more than sufficient to get into any company in this world. Now you'll ask me, what are those 2 frameworks? The first framework is what? Spring. And the second framework is what? Hibernate. So these frameworks you learn, you can get placed to any companies in this world. And in fact, if you know these frameworks and put it in your resume, your weightage will shoot up till the sky. That much weightage. Because in this world, I'm telling you, you'll get shocked. The project what we have created in the controller, what we have used? Servlets. I'll tell you one shock. No one will use servlets in the real world. Do you know this? No one will use it. Now you'll ask me, sir, what you are telling? Full of circus we did, up and down, hormones went, and now we created a project and you are telling servlets we should not use. Yes, in industry no one will use servlets, but instead what they will use? If you look at the servlets there, servlets you should write a code. Yes or no? You should write a code, how to fetch the data, how to give the data inside that, all of that you should do. That's a big circus. Don't do that. Use the framework, ready-made content, everything it will only do. Sensing this much? Great. Well, that is why learning frameworks is a good idea and you are in a right path. Okay, sir. Spring and Hibernate you will teach? Yes. These are the two frameworks we are going to learn in this course that is here in TAP Academy. Great. Okay, sir. What about Python? So in Python also there are very famous frameworks are there. So one is Django. This is a very famous framework, and another one is what? Flask. So like this, many frameworks are there, but among them, these are the very two famous one. In the same way, you take CSS as well. In CSS also, there are many frameworks, and you should be learning it. You take any technology in this world, there is a framework. So it's very important for us as a developers, as a technocrats, to learn these frameworks. It drastically reduces the time of the development, as well as your knowledge on building the web development will drastically shoot till the sky. Sensing this much? Great. So now, forget about C#, forget about JavaScript, forget about Python, but don't forget about Java, because in the Java, we are going to understand two frameworks now. Great. Okay, sir. Which framework you will start with? So, we are going to start with the first framework. What is that framework? Hibernate. So let us start our journey by understanding the Hibernate framework there. Again, I'm telling you, what is the framework? What is the framework? Ready-made content. Ready-made content means what? It's the collection of what? Classes. Beautiful. After that, interfaces. After that, methods. Very good. So we have a ready-made content. The name of the content is Hibernate, and using Hibernate, I can build something for you. But before we dwell deeper inside this Hibernate, there is a very famous question asked. What is the difference between library and framework? This is a very famous question asked in every interview. If you are a fresher, you have 2 years experience, 3 years experience, 4, 5, 8, 10 years, they'll ask you this very important question. What is the difference between library and framework? What you think? What is the difference? Library and framework. What's the difference? What you think, you tell me. What I think, I will tell you later. Because before we start with Hibernate framework, this difference you should be knowing. Library and framework, what's the difference? Anyone? Anyone? What's the difference? Okay, what's this? What is library, sir? So this is how my library looks like. Good. Okay, sir. This is how it looks like, but what I'm having inside this. Let me show you. Inside library, you'll be having classes. Good. Inside library, we have interfaces. Good. Inside library, you have methods as well. Now let me come to framework now. This is how my framework looks like. Good. Now in the framework, what you have there? What's this? Inside this framework, what you have is classes. What you have is interfaces. And what you have is what? Methods. Means library is also a ready-made thing. Your framework is also a ready-made thing. Both of them only ready-made thing. Then why we have two words here, library and framework? Because both of them are same only, right? There is one slight difference is there. Slightest of slight. Now you'll ask me, what is the difference between them, sir? Let me tell you, most of the people will use these words interchangeably. They will tell framework means library. People will tell library means framework. They look similar, but they are not similar. There is only one slightest of difference. Now you'll ask me, what is the difference? Watch it. I'm having a code here. This is the code what you have written. You are a JD. What is JD? Java developer. Very good. So you as a Java developer, you have written some code. Okay, sir. What code I have written? Ignore. We have this. What is this, sir? Library. Good. And we have this as well. What is this, sir? This is your framework. Good. That is your library. We have the framework. In the library, what all things you have, already I have told you. In the library, we have classes, we have methods, and we have what? Interfaces like this. Good. In framework also, let me tell it once again, we have classes, we have methods, and we have what? Interfaces. Good. So you as a Java developer, you have written some code. And what you have written, if you ask me, what you will be doing is in one of the line, you will be calling the methods and the classes which are there here. Means you as a Java developer, you are calling some inbuilt content. And where is that inbuilt content present in? Inside the library. Who is calling that inbuilt content? It is you are calling it. When you as a Java developer will call the inbuilt content, we call it as a library. But when it comes to framework, it is exactly the reverse. What is that, sir? In the framework, there is a content. And what this content will do is, this content will do the calling of your code. Like this. What will happen? That is what I told you. There is the slightest of difference. What about library? Library means you have written a code. And your code is calling the inbuilt content. That is your library. Now there is framework. What is the meaning of framework? You will not call him. Instead, framework will call your code. And this is what? This is your framework. You will never call framework. What framework will do? Framework will call your code, not he will call him. That is the only difference there. Sensing what I'm trying to tell? So how framework will call to him everything, you will understand. But this is the major difference. But if you look here, library and framework, you will feel classes, methods, interfaces. Classes, methods, interfaces. Both are same only. Both are not same. There is slight difference. What is the difference? Library means programmer will call the inbuilt content. Framework means what? Inbuilt content will call your code. That is your framework. Sensing this much? Great. So this is the major difference, and you should tell it like this. Library and interface, library and framework. What is the difference in interviews if they ask you? This is what you should tell. Library means it's a collection of classes, methods, and interfaces. Frameworks means it's a collection of classes, methods, and interfaces. There is a slight difference. What is the difference? Developer will call the inbuilt content, that is library. Framework, that is the inbuilt content calling the developer's code, that is the framework. Sensing this much? Great. So that is why you should code your program in such a way that, especially in frameworks, you should be meeting the expectation of the framework. Coding the framework is very, very easy compared to this. But you should be meeting the expectation of the framework. Because how it will call everything you should be knowing. Then only you can code your code better there. Sensing this much? Great. So with this, let me proceed further now and start understanding something known as a framework. And what framework is that, sir? If you ask me, it is Hibernate. And that is what already I have told you. Good. What is Hibernate? It's a collection of classes, interfaces, and methods, which is already there. And this framework is going to call my code. And I should write my code in such a way that he should call in a better way to achieve my expectation. Good. First and foremost thing, before how it will call my code and how to do all of this, I want to ask this question. What is the need of Hibernate? What is the application of Hibernate? Anyone is having any idea? What is that? Connection with database. Great. Any other answers? Any other answers? What is the use of Hibernate? See, if something use is there, then only you'll use him. Because why is very, very important. Why you have used arrays in Java? Arrays, why? To store the data. Why you use strings? Why you use encapsulation? Why inheritance? Why polymorphism? Why abstraction? This why is damn important. What are the concepts you have learned? You should always ask why, and why. When you get the answer for why, you'll get deeper inside the concept. When you get deeper inside the concept, you will understand the concept in a much, much better way. First and foremost thing, you should tell why you have to learn Java. Correct? First day, you should ask, which course I'm attending? Java course. Why? Why not Python? Why not C? Why not C#? Why only Java? You'll get one answer. When you get an answer, okay, you are okay with that answer. Now you started your course. Concepts came. Why? Let me tell you, it is not only with respect to Java course. You learn any subject, you should always ask why. And in your engineering, so many subjects you had, right? You should take that subject, that book, you should hold like this. And you should ask first question, why? Why I'm learning this book? If you have something known as data structures and algorithms, that's the name of your book, you should ask why you are learning that book. There's certain application for it, and now you'll get an interest deeper inside this. But no one does it. For you, what is important? Book is there. What teacher teaches, God knows. I have to go to the hall. I should write the internals, get good marks, externals, get good marks. Viva attend, get good marks, 9.9 CGPA, you are a great engineer, go to the world and find a job. And it's such an irony that there are very less people who have 9.5, even more than that as a CGPA, but they are unable to get a job. Why? Skill, no skill. But anyhow, please come here and I want to ask you, why Hibernate? And this is how my class works. You should always ask why. Why Hibernate? One of your friend told that connect with the database. What do you mean by this connect with the database? That is what I'm showing you. Watch it. The first and foremost thing is Hibernate we are learning. The reason is why. Why we are learning Hibernate? Watch it. We have a database here. This is the database. And inside the database, as you know, it's a collection of tables. And tables is a collection of columns, and that is what I'm showing you there. So this is our database, and this is how it looks like. Beautiful. So now I want to connect with this database. And with the help of whom I can connect? Very simple. My Java program should connect with the database. And how you will do it, sir, if you ask me? Long way back, I've already explained to you. If you take any web application, this is my web application, it will be having 3 parts. This is the first part, this is the second part, and this is the third part. This is how my third part looks like. And what is the first part, sir, if you ask me? This is known as front end, great, and this is known as what? Back end, beautiful, and this is known as what? Database, like this. Now tell me, front end, how we'll code, you already know, ignore that. Come to backend. In this course, you are learning Java, how to create backend. Now this backend and database should speak with each other. Java and database should speak with each other. And how you will make them speak? With the help of one concept. Which concept is that? Very good. With the help of JDBC, we are going to allow your Java program and database, or database to backend to speak with each other. So that this fellow can store the data and this fellow can give the data and they can play with the data. And data is a very important one nowadays, because data is a new oil, new currency, new gold, by the way. Anyhow, what's this? In JDBC, what all things you have learned now? Because using JDBC only you are going to do all of this. Yes or no? Tell me in JDBC what you have learned. CRUD operations, very good. How you did CRUD operations there? There are certain points are there. What is the point number 1? Loading the driver. Number 2, getting the connection. Number 3, creating the statement or prepared statement. Totally up to you, depends on you. Yes. Tell me, my friends, only this much is sufficient? After that you will tell execute query, execute update, that's a different story. But you will tell a most important thing there. What is that? Process the result. Okay, that is also important. Other than that, you will tell their query. Query is very, very important. Yes or no? Great. Why query is important there? Because you, as a Java developer, you are speaking with the database. If you have to speak with the database, you should be knowing he understands query language, not a programming language. So query language means what? You should tell him, I want to get this table, select. I want to insert this. I want to update this. I want to delete this. Am I correct? Yes or no? Now tell me, are you a database developer? Are you a Java developer? You are a Java developer. Queries and all of that, it is none of your business. You should not remember. Okay, sir. Then what should I do? And most of you, when you created your projects and when you created the projects in your advanced Java, you are unable to write a syntax for SQL query. It was giving you an error, telling not error, exception, SQL, exception. Go to the manual of the SQL, you learn how to write a query and then tell it. That is what it told you. Yes or no? Means it was telling you query, you don't know. Why the hell you should remember that query? Why? Because you are what? You are a Java developer. Okay, sir, query and all of that, I should write it. No, because you are speaking with a query language. Queries must and should. That is what I am telling you. Query, all of that, you don't take care of it. One person is already there, he will take care of it. Now you'll ask me, who is that person? And his name is what? Hibernate. So when you are connecting with your database, query is something which is something, there's a long process for it. Yes or no? You have to understand the entire stuff of MySQL or query language. But you don't know, no problem. Hibernate will take care. Means what I can tell is, Hibernate is an alternative for JDBC. What is that? Hibernate is alternative of JDBC. Or in other words, I can tell you, JDBC is outdated. And Hibernate is what? Updated. Like this. Means what I'm trying to tell you is, no one will use JDBC in industry. What is that? No one will use JDBC in industry. And what they use? They use Hibernate. So now you'll ask me, sir, what the hell is going on in the class? I'm not understanding. You are telling these many days servlets you taught us, and one fine day you came to the class and telling that no, servlets is outdated. It's fine, okay. First it was a shock for us, after that it was okay. Now you are suddenly telling JDBC is outdated, Hibernate is updated. Yes. But why you taught this? Why? Because to understand Hibernate, you should know JDBC. To understand Spring Boot, you should know Spring. To understand Spring, you should be knowing servlets. Because you think that directly Spring and Spring Boot came, you're wrong. First Servlet came, and to overcome the disadvantages of Servlet, we had Spring and Spring Boot. The same thing I taught you this as well. That servlets I have taught to you, but I haven't given any disadvantages. But when I teach about the Spring framework, I will tell you what are the disadvantages and how your Spring will overcome it. In the same way, in JDBC you have learned, because Hibernate was not there from the starting. And what was there? JDBC. If you go some 20 years back, if people have to connect with the database, they used to use what? JDBC itself. They found there is a difficulty there, and then they came up with something known as what? Hibernate. The same thing here as well. So first you should understand how the world understood. In the same way we are teaching you. Sensing this much? Great. Okay, sir. Then what is Hibernate, sir? Hibernate is like a updated version of the JDBC, wherein using Hibernate you can connect with the database and you can play with the data there. Sensing this much? Great. Okay, sir. How to do it, sir? Please watch it. So what you should do is this. What should I do, sir? I'm having a database, and to speak with the database, what we have? What we have? What we have? To speak with the database, what do we have? We have two options, JDBC and Hibernate. So JDBC is not good, I told you. Why is that? Because you are the person who should take all of these queries. Yes or no? Stored procedures you have learned. In stored procedures, what you did there? Stored procedures, what you did there? You knew the stored procedure already in your MySQL. You knew it? Great. And then also you should create something there. Yes or no? After creating it, then what you should do? Prepare call. And after that, all of these things you should do. Means, instead of you writing the Java code, your concentration, your focus is only on the database there. That is what Hibernate is telling. Hibernate is telling you, your work is what? You are a Java developer. Your work is to write a Java code. Playing with the database query and all of that, I will take care. That is the point. This is what you should understand. Sensing this much? Great. Now, your database is ready. Your table is ready. Next what, sir, if you ask me, watch it. We have the Hibernate. And this Hibernate, maybe I'll tell it here. Good. So this is the Hibernate. Awesome. Good. And we have your Java application here. Good. So this is your Java application, and we have what? Hibernate. Hibernate means what? What do you have inside this? Classes, methods, interfaces, only that much. Okay, great. Next what, sir? Watch it. So what you have written your Java application in such a way that you are going to interact with Hibernate, or Hibernate will interact with you. And now Hibernate will speak with my database, and database will speak with the Hibernate, and he will give you all of the data. This is how it is. So even more deeper if I go, let me tell you, my friends, this Hibernate internally uses one concept. And what is that concept, sir? If you ask me, it is JDBC. What is that? JDBC. Means actually speaking, you will not use JDBC, but you will use Hibernate. Internally, what Hibernate will do? Hibernate will use JDBC to connect with the database and fetch all of the data. So this is how the internal working of Hibernate is present in. Sensing this much? Great. What is your work now? Your focus should be only on writing the Java application, only that much. Query everything, he will be taking care. Sensing this much? Is there any doubt till now? No doubt. What is the use of Hibernate? What is the use of Hibernate? What is the use of Hibernate? So Hibernate will remove all the disadvantages of JDBC. So all of this query writing is not there in the Hibernate. You should just use Hibernate to connect with the database without writing any queries. So queries, your Hibernate will take care of it. Sensing this much? Very good. So now question arises, okay sir, Java application, how can I write so that I can speak with the database and how Hibernate will take care of it? And that is what I am showing you. Please watch it. Great. So what I will do, I'll create my database now. This is the database. Good. And inside the database, we have a table, and I want to create a table here. This is how the table looks like. Good. And what is the name of the table, sir? The name of the table, I want to give it as what? Employee, like this. So let me take this table and bring him outside. Good. He's an employee table. Beautiful. And this employee table is having certain columns. This is the first column. Good. And what is that column, sir? If you ask me, it is ID. And this ID should be primary key. I'm just putting the star there. Very good. Next, what an employee can have? An employee can have a name. Very good. So this is the name I'm giving there. Good. Not only name, an employee will be having certain salary as well. So this is the salary I'm telling. Salary also is having. This is not the end. It is having one more column there. And what is that column, sir? If you ask me, department, like this. Good. It's not the end. We have one more column as well. And what is that column, sir? If you ask me, so the column I want to give it as email ID. Good. So I'll just tell email. Awesome. So this is the employee table, and inside employee table we have an ID. This should be primary key. Employee name, his salary will be there. Employee, he depends. He belongs to any department, correct? He can be IT department. He can be, a training department. If I have to speak about TAP Academy, there are many departments here. There's a finance department. There is a training department. There's a HR department. So like this, there is a branding department. All of these are there. Placement department, most important thing. So all of these departments are there. In the same way, if I have to take my ID, my name Kshitij, salary, I'll speak about later. So what is this? Department training. So my email ID, kshitij@thetapacademy.com. Sensing this much? Great. So now, this is the employee table. Awesome. And this employee table, I want to decrease its size and put it in my database. So now my table is ready. Okay, sir. Next, what you want to tell, please watch it. What you should do is, you should write a Java program now in such a way that I want to insert a data there here. What data you want to insert, sir, if you ask me? ID should be one, some names, some salaries, some department, some email ID I want to insert there. Means I want to speak with the database now, and we've been doing this from long time. The question is, sir, JDBC, can I use it? That's the point. You should not use JDBC. Then what I should use here? Hibernate. Means now there is one person and his name is Hibernate. This is the Hibernate. Very good. And Hibernate will internally use something. And what he will use, sir, if you ask me, that is what I'm showing you. He uses what? JDBC to speak with the data. Good. So now Hibernate, all of that, it will take care that how to connect with him and how to insert the data, what to write a query. It's none of your business. He will take care. Then what is your business? Writing the Java code is your business. Question arises, how should I write the Java program? How should I write? Very simple. How should I write, sir? You've been doing this from long time, but let me do it. What is that, sir? You should create one class here. What I should create a class, sir? You tell me, what is the name of the table? Employee. That should be the name of the class. That is what you should do. Really, sir? Let me show you. This is a class. The name of the class is employee, like this. I'll open this. Now you tell me, what do you have here? ID, name, salary, department, email ID. All of them should be attributes or instance variables. Let me do that. So first is ID. You should tell int ID there. In the same way, what do you have? String name. Very good. Next what? Very good. So you have salary as well. So int long depends on you how you will do the performance. I'll just tell it as int salary there, like this. And after that, what do you have? Department. So I'll just tell it as string what, sir? Department, like this, and followed by you have a string email ID as well. I'm just telling it to you. Beautiful. And all of these attributes, whatever I'm telling, it should be private members. So I'll just tell P like this. Good. Only this much, sir? Absolutely no. You have to create one constructor, that is zero parameterized constructor. You should give one more constructor there. What kind of constructor? Parameterized constructor. So after that, you should give their setters. Awesome. And you should get it as what there? Getters, like this. Means what you should create? One Pojo class you should create even in Hibernate as well. Sensing this much? Great. Means can I tell that your Hibernate supports Pojo? Can I tell it? Yes or no? Your Hibernate supports Pojo. Not Pogo, Pojo. Okay, sir. Next what? After that, what I should do is, you should create one object. Sir, how should I create the object, sir? If class is ready, 100% you can create an object now. This is the object you should create. And which object is this, sir? Which object is this? Which object is this? Employee object. And inside employee object, what all things you have there? Way to create this employee object, in which class, way to tell main method, should I tell main method or not? Everything I will tell you. But what you should do? You should create one Pojo class. If class is there, class is imaginary. What you should create? One object who is a real entity. You should create the object. Where you should create the object, I will tell you, but you should create an object. If you create an object, inside this object, what do you have? Inside the object, what do you have? Whatever a class is having, what a class is having. Very good. So it is having ID. Very good. And it is having what? Name. After that, it is having salary. What it is having next? It is having department. Not only that, it is having email ID as well in this fashion. Very good. When you do this much, your 90% of the work is over. What your Hibernate will do is, you have given this object and you have only created this table. Your Hibernate work is to map this fellow, he will do the mapping. And how he will do the mapping, sir, if you ask me? What is the name of the object? Employee. What is the name of the table? Employee. What is the name of instance variable? First one? ID. What is the first column? ID. What is the second instance variable? Name. What is the second column? Name. Salary, third column. Department, fourth column. Email ID, fifth column. Like this, your Hibernate will map it. He will only map it. And that is why your Hibernate is also known as ORM. It is known as what? ORM. Now you'll ask me, what is this ORM? O stands for object. R stands for relational or related, you can tell. Relational. And what is this M? Mapping. Like this. So now question arises, why the name ORM for the Hibernate? Some people will call it as Hibernate and some people call it as what? ORM. What is ORM? Object relational mapping or object related mapping. So relational related, what you want you can tell. Good. What is this? Where is object? This is object. Yes? Great. Tell me, who is he? It's the database. Which database I'm using there? MySQL. Now you tell me, is he RDBMS or is he just DBMS? You should be knowing what is the difference between RDBMS and DBMS. What is the difference? There is a database. Yes. What database? MySQL. Correct? MySQL I'm using there. Is MySQL is RDBMS or just DBMS? RDBMS. Why you are giving there RDBMS as the name? Huh? So did your, who taught you MySQL? Your Blessina madam. Very good. Tell me, did Blessina madam taught you what do you mean by structured data, unstructured data? Structured data, unstructured data. For unstructured data, you have something else. For structured data, you have something else. You know that? This is MySQL. It is RDBMS you are telling, but first of all, you should understand what is the meaning of RDBMS and all of that. Please watch it. See, in this world, there are two type of data is there. First one is structured data. And next one is what? Unstructured data. Without knowing this, you cannot give, is it RDBMS or DBMS? Understand this properly. What is structured data? So before I speak about structured data, let me speak about unstructured data. Unstructured data means, actually speaking, 99% of the data in this world is unstructured. It's unstructured data. And now, managing this unstructured data becomes very, very important for the engineers. Because 99% of the data is unstructured data. Because this world, whatever you have now, everything will work on the data. See, you'll get a call from a bank telling that, hey, you want the loan or what? How come he got your number? Data. Means your data is getting sold by so many people and they're earning the money. That's the beauty of the data. But data, let me come here, unstructured data. 99% of the data is unstructured, and to handle this, we have or we want certain technology, and that technology, we call it as what? DBMS, to handle unstructured data. Means whatever the unstructured data we have, how to play with this unstructured data, that is what your DBMS will tell. And one very famous example technology to handle all of this data is this one. What is that, sir? MongoDB. And he is just a DBMS who will handle your unstructured data there. In the same way, there is one more very important fellow. Who is he? MariaDB. Mongo, Maria, sir, sister, sir? No, both of them are different, but these are the very famous, DBMS softwares to handle unstructured data. Very good. So what do you mean by unstructured data? Unstructured data means this data don't have any columns, that is the meaning. This data don't have any tables, that is the meaning. That is unstructured data. Simply you have some data there. It just got scattered. So it's your responsibility as a MongoDB developer to take all of this data, put it in a structured way and play with the data. That is how it is. Very good. In the same way, structured data, let me tell you, my dear student, in this world, there is only 1% of the data which is structured. You know this? There's only 1%. And to handle this 1% of the structured data, we have something technology. And what is that, sir, if you ask me? RDBMS. What do you mean by structured data? Structured data means all the data are in the form of table. And in the table, you have the columns. And you are telling that its ID should be 1, his salary should be this much, email ID should be there, and this is it. Not only that, you have one more row there, and you have the name, you have the email ID, you have the salary like this. Means, between this data, there is some relation. Yes or no? See, if you give their primary key, can primary key be duplicates? That is what I'm telling you. Learn Hibernate. Don't remember MySQL at all. Okay, anyhow. So what I'm trying to tell my dear students is, if you look here, auto increment, or if you tell primary key 1, he will generate 2. Next one 3, next one 4 only. Now question arises, how come he know that already 1 is there? There is some relationship between these two rows. And that is why we call it as what? RDBMS, means relational database management software or system, you can tell there. There is some relation between these rows. Sensing this much? Great. And to handle this, we have many technologies there. And one very famous one is what? MySQL. And another very famous one is what? Oracle, like this. Sensing this much? Very good. So with this information, let me come back here. Tell me, what we are using here? MySQL. MySQL is the database what we are using. And using my MySQL, I'm creating one table there, employee. Means what is this? Is this DBMS or RDBMS? This is RDBMS. RDBMS means there is a R there. R means what? Relational. Means that is what it is telling. Object. This is object. And which is the database here? Relational. Object, relational. There is a mapping going on. Employee, employee. ID, ID. Name, name. Salary, salary. Mapping is going on. That is why it is known as what? ORM. Sensing this much? And this mapping, it is taken care by Hibernate. But what you should be taking care? Writing this class properly, creating this object properly. After this mapping, it will only take care. Sensing this much? Yes or no? Great. So in interviews, they'll ask you this question, object relational mapping. What do you mean by this? Why the name ORM to the Hibernate? This also they will ask. Sensing this much? Great. So with this, next what should I do, sir? What's this? So ORM you got to know. Let me remove this. Great. Next what you will do, sir? See, what you should do is, whenever you are using Hibernate, the most important thing is you should have a database, you should have a table, you should have a Pojo class, you should create an object. This much is not sufficient. Then what I should do, sir, if you ask me, you should come here. Before that, in interviews, they will ask you this question as well. Let me complete this and proceed further. They will ask you that, can your Hibernate works for unstructured data? They'll ask you this. What should be your answer? Can your Hibernate can speak with the unstructured data? Yes or no? No. Why? It is known as what? ORM. Object relational. Relational means what? RDBMS. RDBMS means what? Structured data. Means your Hibernate is there only to play with the structured data, not with the unstructured data. This is also most of the times in interviews they will ask you. Sensing this much? Great. So with this, let me proceed further now. And what is that, sir, if you ask me? Watch it. As I was telling you, your table should be ready, your Pojo class, your object should be ready. Next, what should be ready, sir? There should be one settings. And this settings, you should do it with respect to the Hibernate. It is not only Hibernate, my dear students. You take any framework. This is my framework. And to work this framework properly, you have to do the settings properly. If your settings, if there is a problem, your entire program will come down. Settings is very, very important. Whether you take Hibernate, whether you take Spring, you take Play, you take GWT, you take anything. Not only Java frameworks, you take Python framework, CSS framework, the setting folder or setting is very, very important. What do you mean by setting? So setting is a very layman terminology. Actually speaking, this setting is known with one name. What name is that, sir, if you ask me? This is configuration file. Configuration means what? Setting file. What do you have to do the setting, sir? You have to set this Hibernate properly. That is what you should do. and this is my configuration file, and how to set the Hibernate properly, I will tell you. But what we should do is this, and whatever I have shown here, this is your Hibernate. Sensing this much? Great. Now you tell me, out of all of these things, what is your responsibility? What are the things you should take care? What you should take care? First one, Pojo class. Creating the object. Next what? Your setting file. Setting file, technically it is known as what? Configuration file. And now creating the table properly. You should be taking care. Rest, Hibernate will take care. So now we should start writing our programs. And what is Hibernate? So from now onwards, this is the diagram. Create a Pojo class, create an object, create one configuration file, and rest Hibernate will take care. That's the end of your Hibernate. Sensing this? It's not the end. The meaning is we have to play with this now. Are you guys ready? Great. So now we should start building it. So to create this, I need a minimum of 1 or 15 minutes to write a program for this. So that much time I don't have, because 4:30 I'm having a class. So I'll stop my discussion here itself. So next class, the solid foundation I have built, and Hibernate is only this much. So we will start writing the programs. But these programs will start writing not from today, but when? On Friday we will start writing. Yes, so till then, so whatever I have done, so make sure you revise it. Monday we will start building the programs for this. Great, so Hibernate, one of the easiest of concept. We have to do CRUD operations. How you did CRUD operations in JDBC, the same CRUD operations I should do it in Hibernate as well. There's something known as one-to-one mapping, one-to-many mapping, many-to-one mapping. Some mappings are there. If we do it, that is the end of your Hibernate. And after that, we can start with what? Spring. So Spring is something, again, it is damn easy if you come and sit in the class. So Spring also we have to learn, I've been telling you, Spring Core, Spring ORM, Spring AOP, Spring MVC, and Spring Boot. So that is what we are going to learn there. Great, so again I'm telling you, if you learn the books, if you go to the internet and ask ChatGPT and type, you will be confused so much. But you come and sit in the class, it's my duty to make it a complicated stuff a very easy one. So till then, whatever I have done, please revise. Come back on Friday, because Friday we are going to write programs on this. Whatever I have shown you theoretically, how to build it practically, I will tell you. But don't expect me to repeat the same stuff again there. If your friends are coming to the class on Friday, please teach them and then only tell them that come to the class now. Great, so I'll stop my discussion here itself. So tomorrow is what? Yugadi, so it's a holiday for you. So day after tomorrow, have I told you that there's a holiday? Sandwich day, good. So that's an holiday. So Thursday is Ramzan, so holiday. So we'll meet when? Friday. So a very happy Yugadi to all of you. So you know that Yugadi festival is there? You know? Oh, I think the people who are coming from northern part of India, you don't know. How many of you are from northern part of India? Oh, many of you are there. Good, good. So you might be thinking, what is this? Is this a big festival or what? Is it celebrated in Andhra Pradesh? Tamil Nadu? Maharashtra? Kerala? Huh? Okay. So TAP Academy is present in Bangalore. So Bangalore is there in Karnataka. So in Karnataka, there is one festival celebrated known as Yugadi. What is the meaning of this? If you look at the Western culture, the New Year starts from Jan 1st. That is according to the Western culture. But according to Hindu culture, the people tell that the New Year starts on the auspicious day of Yugadi. Means tomorrow is what? A new year, according to the Hindu religion. So that's what people will put some oil to their head. They will take bath, telling that, oh, tomorrow, today onwards, there is a new year. There will be new me. I will put some resolutions to me, telling that this year I will do this, that, and all of that. So resolutions are always there in the book. Correct? So if it should come to the reality, you should work for it. And you know that change is the only constant. If you change yourself, meaning what? You are accepting that resolutions and you start working on it. Anyhow, so tomorrow is the Yugadi, that's a new year beginning according to the Hindu religion. So here in Karnataka especially, we celebrate it as one of the auspicious day. That is why it is a holiday from TAP Academy end. So a very happy Yugadi to all of you. So let happy new year get you a lot of offer letters on your table as soon as possible. Yes, great. So thank you so much and see you on Friday.